Hi, my name is Moss, and I'm making Duck Norris Tales. It's a boss rush game where you play as a duck saving the world from an alien invasion. And I have a confession to make. My game is missing a lot of content. Basically everything that isn't a boss fight. And I know how this sounds. Like, how do you spend 2 years without making any content for the actual game? But hear me out, and I bet some of you have been in a similar situation. For the past 8 months, I was deep in the creative flow, mainly focused on cracking out boss after boss. Each one felt like I was outdoing my previous work, and I was in complete flow. Drothar, the Red Elder, Pangolin. I was on fire. And every other week I brought a new boss to life. And earlier this August, I opened my test map to add boss number 10. And I ran out of room. Literally no space left. I've been so focused on nailing down my workflow to get these bosses out of the way that I filled up my prototype build. At that moment, I felt like I was having a car with no roads to drive on, so I needed to fix that. And this is the curse of a solo game developer. If you've ever worked on a project alone, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Once you get momentum on something you enjoy working on, and I mean really enjoy, you latch onto it like a rocket going to the moon. Because game development at its core is driven by three main things: love, pain, and suffering. When you love something, you pour everything into it. You perfect it, polish it until it shines, and you develop tunnel vision that you ignore the real world around you. That was me with the boss fights. Every pattern, every animation frame, and every design aspect. I was eating and breathing boss fights for the whole time, and I wanted nothing else. But then comes the pain. When you finally have to work on the stuff you don't enjoy. The menus, the level design, adding co-op, it's the main thing that elevates the whole experience. It's the boring work that you have to do in order to have a functioning game. And then the suffering. Well, that's all the bugs you try to fix along the way. The whole process felt like planning a hiking trip. You bring your best gear and set a trajectory. Take your first steps without a GPS. Your only guide is the stars and your own confidence. Even if you're a veteran and you've hiked many hills before, sometimes you're hit by an unexpected surprise. And as your target gets closer and closer, you reach what feels like the peak. You look up and realize you've just traversed the very first hill. There's another mountain ahead, and another one right behind that. And what you thought was a destination was just a view from one perspective. At this point, your backpack is nearly empty, and you look down and there is a forest between the hill and the other mountain, and you didn't plan for that. What would you do? Would you give up and go back, or double down and keep going? So here we are, at the point of no return, finally building the first hub world for Duck Norris Tales. And I'm glad I waited because I know what I need now better than I did 8 months ago. Instead of going the traditional route making a world map like Cuphead and Mario World, I wanted something that gave me a little bit more control. And I found the side-scrolling perspective have more flexibility than a bird's eye view. And the reasoning is I can create cinematic moments when I want to. And I can control the atmosphere in specific areas to add points of interest. And that makes the exploration actually rewarding. It's not just getting from point A to point B anymore. It's a whole journey from one side to the other. One thing I always wanted to do was to have different doors for every bosses. I've been using this placeholder for a very long time, and with the hub in place, I want you to know where you are on the map by just looking at the door. Every boss has a completely unique door that tells you exactly who's waiting on the other side. For example, this is Ayalis. You know you're about to face something with a bad attitude, and if you watch my previous devlog, you know that you're gonna get slapped around behind this door. Creating these doors also forced me to finally tackle two things I have been avoiding for far too long. A proper quest system, and a way to bring back Duck Norris at a specific point on the map, whenever you enter or exit a door. And this one was honestly pretty easy, and it didn't take much time. I only had to modify an object with a specific XY coordinates every time the player interacts with it. But the quest system is the one that I had to do a little bit work, and it will use a little bit of polish later on. At the moment, I set up a basic quest where you need to defeat certain bosses before you move on to the next chapter. And the same system can also work with door locks, where you can collect keys around the map. It's very simple but effective. And I won't spoil too much. This hub turned out way better than I expected. The atmospheres, the sense of progression, even just the way it feels to move around it. It just clicks in a way that gives you a breathing room between every boss fight. Have you ever gotten so deep into one aspect of a project that you forgot everything else? Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far and you're interested in optimizing things and becoming better, I've created a new Discord server for like-minded people who wants to take this journey to the next level, and you can find it in the links below. If you enjoyed this video, please leave it a like and a comment. It will really help me with the algorithm and help the channel grow. If you enjoyed this video, you'll enjoy this video as well. Thank you so much, and remember, just take it one day at a time, and I'll see you in the next video.